Have you ever wondered if the world around you is real? If everything you see, touch, and believe is just part of a big illusion? It may sound strange, like something from a science fiction movie, but this idea is actually very old. More than 2,000 years ago, a Greek philosopher named Plato talked about this in one of his most famous stories, the Allegory of the Cave. This story is not just a lesson in philosophy, it also connects deeply with modern questions about reality, technology, and the idea of living in a simulation. In this first part of our journey, we will explore Plato's story, what it means, and how it might help us understand the strange world we live in today. Let's begin. Plato asks us to imagine a cave. Inside this cave are people who have lived there since birth. They are chained in such a way that they cannot turn their heads. All they can see is the wall in front of them. Behind them, there is a fire. Between the fire and the prisoners, there is a raised walkway. Along this path, people walk and carry objects, statues, animals, and other shapes, which cast shadows on the wall in front of the prisoners. Because these prisoners have never seen the real world, they believe that the shadows on the wall are real. To them, the shadows are the whole world. They don't know that the shapes are only reflections of real things behind them. They do not see the people or the fire. They only see shadows. This is the beginning of Plato's powerful message. He is telling us that most people live their whole lives like those prisoners. We accept what we see in front of us as the full truth. We rarely question it. We do not try to turn our heads or break our chains. We live in a world of shadows, trusting appearances instead of seeking the deeper truth. Now imagine that one of the prisoners breaks free. At first, he is confused. The light from the fire hurts his eyes. He is scared and doesn't want to believe that the shadows were just illusions. But slowly, he begins to see the truth. He walks up the tunnel and reaches the outside world. There he sees real trees, animals, and people for the first time. He sees the sun, the source of all light. At first, the sunlight is too bright. It blinds him. But over time, his eyes adjust. He realizes that everything he believed before was false. The real world is full of color and light, while the cave was full of shadows and lies. Now that he knows the truth, he feels the need to go back and tell the others. So he returns to the cave, but the others do not believe him. They laugh at him. They say he is blind and foolish. They have lived their whole lives in the cave, and to them, the shadows are real. They do not want to hear that their reality is a lie. Some might even become angry at him, afraid of the truth he brings. Plato's message is simple but deep. He believed that the world we see is not the real world. It is only a reflection, a copy of a higher truth. He believed that true knowledge is not found by looking outside, but by turning inward, by thinking deeply, and by seeking wisdom. But how does this old story connect to our modern world? Let's think about the movie The Matrix. In the film, people live in a computer simulation. Their minds are trapped in a fake world created by machines. Everything they see, hear, and feel is controlled by code. The main character, Neo, lives a normal life until he begins to question his reality. He meets Morpheus, who tells him the truth, that the world he lives in is an illusion. Morpheus offers Neo a choice: take the red pill and wake up, or take the blue pill and return to the fake world. Neo chooses the red pill. He wakes up in the real world, outside the simulation. Like the prisoner in Plato's cave, he is shocked and confused at first, but then he learns to see the truth. He realizes that the world he trusted was only a dream. The Matrix is basically a modern version of Plato's cave. It shows how people can be trapped in false beliefs, how technology can create illusions, and how difficult it is to face the truth. It also shows the power of waking up, of breaking free and seeing reality as it truly is. But this idea is not just a story or a movie. Today, many scientists and thinkers are talking seriously about simulation theory. This is the idea that we might actually be living in a computer simulation, just like in the Matrix. This theory asks, what if a highly advanced civilization, far in the future, created powerful computers that can simulate whole worlds? If that's possible, then it might be likely that our world is one of those simulations. We might be part of a computer program, living in a digital illusion. The things we see, feel, and do might only exist inside this massive system. It sounds wild, but big names like Elon Musk have said it could be true. Some physicists say there are strange signs in the laws of physics that hint at computer code underneath reality. Others believe that consciousness, our ability to think and be aware, may not be what it seems. If this is true, then Plato's cave is more than a story. It might be our real condition. We may be the prisoners. The shadows on our walls may be our phones, our news, our screens, and even our beliefs. We might be living in a digital cave where algorithms shape what we see and think. We are chained by comfort, by fear, by systems we don't understand. And just like in the cave, anyone who tries to break free and speak the truth is often rejected. So what can we do? First, we must learn to question the world around us, not in a fearful or angry way, but in a wise way. We must look deeper. We must ask, is this real? Is this true? Why do I believe this? Where does this information come from? Second, we must search for truth, not just facts, but deep understanding. This means turning off the noise and spending time thinking. It means reading, learning, and growing. It means turning inward and asking hard questions. And finally, we must be brave enough to step out of the cave, to open our minds, to accept that the truth may be difficult, but it is worth it. Plato believed that the path to wisdom is not easy. It takes time, effort, and courage, but it is the only way to become truly free. In the next part of this journey, we will dive even deeper. We will explore how simulation theory works, how AI and virtual reality are changing our understanding of truth, and what ancient philosophy can teach us about living in an age of illusion. For now, remember this: the shadows on the wall are not the whole truth. There is more out there, and it's waiting to be discovered. Part 2. Waking up from the simulation. In Part 1, we explored Plato's Allegory of the Cave, a story about people who lived in darkness, only seeing shadows on the wall, believing those shadows were real. We also connected that story to the movie The Matrix, where people live in a fake digital world created by machines. But what if this story is not just philosophy or science fiction? What if Plato's idea is more real than we thought? What if we really are living in a kind of simulation? In this second part, we explore simulation theory in detail. We'll talk about how technology, artificial intelligence, and virtual reality are shaping our world. We'll also look at how ancient wisdom can help us live with purpose in a time when reality feels more confusing than ever. Let's begin. Simulation theory is a modern idea that says we might be living in a computer program. This program could be created by an advanced civilization in the future, maybe hundreds or thousands of years ahead of us. Their computers would be so powerful that they could run realistic simulations of whole worlds, including people, cities, and even thoughts and emotions. This idea became popular after philosopher Bostrom wrote a paper in 2003. He said that if it's possible for future people to build realistic simulations, and if they create many of them, then it's likely that most beings like us would be inside a simulation, not in the real world. Think about video games today. Just 20 years ago, games looked simple and cartoonish. Now we have virtual reality, 3D worlds, and AI characters that can talk, move, and act almost like real people. If we've come this far in just a few decades, imagine what kind of technology could exist in 1,000 years. If those future humans or AI wanted to study the past, they could create detailed simulations, maybe even one of Earth in the 21st century. And we might be part of it. This might sound crazy, but some scientists say there are clues in our universe that support this idea. Some believe the laws of physics are too perfect, like a code that has been programmed. Others talk about mathematical patterns in nature that feel artificial. Still others look at how strange quantum physics is, how particles can act differently when we observe them, and wonder if it's like a computer responding to user input. Elon Musk, one of the most famous tech leaders today, has said there is a very high chance that we are living in a simulation. He argues that the progress of technology makes it more likely than not. But if this is true, what does it mean for us? Should we be afraid? Should we stop living our lives? Not at all. In fact, even if we are in a simulation, that doesn't mean our lives are meaningless. Just like the prisoner in Plato's cave, the goal is not to stay in fear. The goal is to wake up, to seek truth, to ask better questions. Let's pause and look at our world today. We are surrounded by screens, phones, TVs, tablets. Every day we spend hours looking at digital images, videos, and social media posts. We scroll through feeds, chasing likes and shares, lost in a flood of information. Sometimes it feels like we're no longer living in the real world. We're living in a digital cave, staring at shadows on a screen. Algorithms decide what we see. News platforms tell us what to think. Ads tell us what to buy. AI now writes articles, creates art, and even speaks with us. In many ways, reality is becoming blurred. It's hard to tell what's real and what's fake. Deep fakes, fake news, virtual influencers. It's all part of this new world. This is why Plato's story is more important than ever. He reminds us that just because something looks real doesn't mean it is. Just because we're comfortable doesn't mean we're free. Just because everyone believes something doesn't make it true. So how do we wake up? First, we must become aware. That means noticing when we are being controlled by screens, media, or habits. It means asking ourselves, is this true? Do I really believe this? Why do I feel this way? Who benefits from my attention? Awareness is the first step out of the cave. Second, we must seek knowledge. Real knowledge, not just opinions or headlines. This means reading books, listening to different ideas, and thinking deeply. It means stepping back and seeing the bigger picture. Third, we must connect with the real world. Go outside. Talk to people face to face. Look at the sky. Feel the earth. Remember what it means to be human. In a digital world, real experiences are rare and valuable. And finally, we must not be afraid of truth. Sometimes the truth is uncomfortable. Like the prisoner who first sees the sunlight, it can hurt at first. But over time, we grow stronger. We become wiser. We become more alive. Philosophers like Plato, Socrates, and Descartes all told us that the world might be a dream, an illusion, or a trick. But they also believed that the mind has the power to wake up. They believed that wisdom and reason can guide us, even in the darkest times. Descartes famously said, "I think, therefore I am." Even if everything else is false, the fact that we can think, that we can ask questions, proves that we exist in some form. That's our anchor. So even if we are in a simulation, we still matter. Our choices matter. Kindness matters. Courage matters. Even in a world of code and screens, love is real. Hope is real. The search for truth is real. And that's the message of Plato's cave. Not just that we live in illusion, but that we can escape it. That we can rise above the shadows and see the light. Now let's connect this back to the Matrix one last time. In the movie, Neo becomes the One, not because he has special powers at first, but because he chooses to wake up. He chooses truth over comfort. He chooses to fight for others. He learns to bend the rules of the simulation because he understands that the world he knew was not real. You can do the same. You may not be able to fly or dodge bullets, but you can take control of your mind. You can choose to be aware. You can choose to be free. In the end, Plato's cave, the matrix, and simulation theory all teach the same thing. Don't blindly trust the shadows. Don't accept the world at face value. Ask questions, seek truth, break free, because beyond the illusion, there is a greater reality, and you are meant to find it. This has been Mind Odyssey. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Until next time, stay curious, stay awake, and never stop seeking the light.